Welcome. I haven't seen y'all in a while. So I always be making sure that I'm ready mentally, spiritually, and physically. And I always have to come up with new creative ways to communicate with my audience and the people that view me because I want to make sure I relay the message so you could be in your heart. Like you got to feel it from the heart. If you don't feel it from the heart and the soul, then it is meaningless. Today's subject is obedience is better than sacrifice. So, when I talk about obedience is better than sacrifice, what I mean to say is that, as a child, we were growing up, our parents wanted us to be obedient. It also says it in the Bible for us to be obedient. Not just to our parents, but to God's will, God's way. What He has already planned for us because there's no mistakes on God's path. With that being said, when we are not obedient and we don't listen to God's calling, that leads to destruction. If we use obedience and sacrifice, meaning like sometimes you have to not do something that you really want to do to be obedient to God, that's where the sacrifice comes in at. If we're not understanding these two things go together and they're simultaneously together, we create a world of magic miracles to exist, walking, striding in every day. So practice being obedient and, sacrificing certain things. Maybe you have to fast. Maybe you have to just give up something or start something new, to get rid of, some type of energy that's not wanted in your presence at that moment in time. So you can elevate to the next level because it's all about elevation, but like I say, elevation requires separation. So you have to separate yourself from things that doesn't serve you to get to the next level. How can that be done? Because it's easier said than done. First of all, thinking about what it is that you truly want to do and what matters to you. But remember, be obedient to yourself. So remember, be obedient to God, will God's way. If you need to pull out the Bible and see where to start, even in the first scriptures, in Genesis, it was a story about two brothers, Cain and Abel, and Cain killed his brother Abel, and God asked, where's your brother? And Mama asked, where's your brother? He said he didn't know. He said, am I my brother's keeper? That was part one. He was not being obedient. The story continues and it continues and continues. And we happen to some people, not me, but the bloodline of them. And so you have to be able to recognize who is for you, who's not for you, because you could think that somebody's your brother or your sister and they be the one that's out to kill you. So we just have to be steadfast with being obedient. And I say steadfast, I mean oh goodness, my hair's long and my earrings are getting caught up in it, but that's okay. Nothing's gonna stop the message from getting out. So we have to be obedient. There's no way around it. Obedient is better than sacrifice. Because being obedient, the sacrifice comes into play because you're already sticking to what God wants you to do. So therefore you have to sacrifice something that you know you're not supposed to be doing. That's where the sacrifice comes in. And really, it sounds hard, but it's not. It just really depends on what you want out of life and where you want to be and how do you want to structure your life for the future. What type of longevity do you want to have? Are you being grateful for living in the moment, for having breath in your body at every moment, being able to make it through the night and wake up the next morning? The smallest things that we take for granted, having hot water to turn on, lights that turn on, being able to even have a phone to even record content, even having the internet to record content. So it's we just have to be grateful, in everything. And then with being grateful, that also plays into being obedient, because when you're obedient, you get rewarded with the desires of your heart for being obedient. Speaking from experience, once I start being obedient of God's way, my life start folding fast, blessings on top of blessings, and they're still coming faster, I believe. Where it's overwhelming, where I have to remind myself is celebrity, you asked for this. You asked for this, so don't be afraid of success. Don't be afraid that you see it is coming to fruition. I just ask God to help me mentally prepare, spiritually prepare, keep giving me the spirit of discernment so I can recognize what's for me, what's not for me, what I need to move away from before, warning comes before destruction. And that also plays in being obedient, because my grandma would say a disobedient child, ooh. So I remember back in the day, I was never a bad kid, but I remember getting in trouble for other kids because that's how they raised us back in the day. Everybody get whooping, line them up. one person did it, everybody get punished. You know, if your younger sister did it, younger sibling did it, younger cousin, whatever, you got punished because you didn't watch them. This is how I grew up, so I know about obedience. I know about it. Not to say that every situation was right, it was fair, but me growing up with that type of structure, me seeing that and experiencing it at the same time, it taught me a very valuable lesson. Okay, I'm not trying to suffer from nobody else's karma. Let me be obedient to God's will, God's way. What God has for me, and it will be pure because it will feel right. It will feel just. It will feel, it won't be no ill feelings around it. It won't be like no second guessing, no like, okay. Because if you have to do that, then it's obviously maybe not for you. Because anything that comes from God is just, we don't second guess that. We know that it's sent from God, whether it's, for a moment in time, for a lesson, whether it's for a longer time, it doesn't matter. It's meant for you, it's meant for you. Especially if it's sent from God, it's divine. How we know something is sent from the negative? How we would know something's sent from the negative forces? Because I don't like using those other words. I don't even want to speak those words in my house. I don't even use those words. Y'all know what they are. From the negative forces, the negative entities that swarm, they jump from body to body, and if they see you happy, they don't want you to be happy because they're not happy, or they don't want you to have it because they don't have it, or they haven't done their shadow work. And that's what they say. You got to read between the lines. Just take a step back and breathe and tune in. The devil comes to what? Steal, kill, destroy. They don't destroy is they want to destroy whatever you're building, happiness, joy. They're gonna come steal, kill, whatever they gotta come do. Whichever way they gotta pose to do it, to get the mission accomplished, they're gonna do it. But you have to have the spirit of discernment, which is by being obedient and making sacrifices. Because birds of a feather flock together. I've caught myself hanging around the wrong people and some stuff was going down. I'm like, okay, now let me figure out how to think myself about this situation real quick. Let me, and yes, I came out unscathed, so I'm grateful for that. But I had to realize, like, well, what am I doing to put myself in situations where I gotta, oh goodness, it's finna go down, let me get up out of here. That's no more. That's no more. That is being obedient, a good judge of character, and moving with the spirit of discernment. Because warning comes before destruction. And 9 times out of 10, when you're vibrating at a certain frequency in life, that's what you're going to attract. You should only be vibrating at the frequency that's attracting love, kindness, and respect. It don't matter where you are on earth. You could be anywhere, and people will see that on you, and that's what they're going to treat you. You're going anywhere. It don't matter how they feel about whatever. But when it comes to you, they're going to treat you with the utmost respect, as if you was like I was saying, they're going to treat you with the utmost respect, as if you were a relative that they actually do like and care about. They would treat you as if you were their boss. They would treat you with the same way they would want to be treated, because that's how you treat people. So you're planting seeds and you're sowing seeds. So when those seeds sprout, as you walk through life, you're going to get treated with the same seeds that you sown. So we got to be obedient, and for anybody who has not let go of the mentality of I could get back, I could treat somebody bad and I'm still gonna end up good. No, it don't work like that. Whatever motive, whatever intentions you have set out in your mind, and it comes out your tongue, because it all starts here. When it even starts here, it's already coming right back to you, because you're thinking it, whatever you're thinking about somebody else is what you think about yourself. That's why they call it projection. So if you don't even have positive thoughts of yourself, of course you wouldn't have positive thoughts of somebody else. So if you're out here plotting negatively, putting your energy, your focus where it's not needed, besides on God, number one, and yourself, to enrich yourself, educate yourself, fill your mind, body, and spirit with just love and light. And I wouldn't even say turn the cheek, but turn the eye, and just turn your energy away from negativity, because it don't require your attention. It don't require anything from you, because it's not of you. And you already know that anybody that's coming with that, they just want to trigger, or they want to see how far they could go, and you don't give them anything. So obedience is bigger than sacrifice. When you are moving with God's light and God's love, then you only are obedient. And that's why you're going to continue to be blessed. That's why you're going to